about something that I just wanted to make a note of, because this is a really important time. I mean, every time's important. Try missing one. You soon find that out. You know, you miss one, you're going to miss all the rest of them. So part of the sequence of life is you've got to go through whatever you like or don't like, or kind of find boring or find overexciting, the stresses and the various vicissitudes of life experience, because that's what being human's all about. And it's irrespective of our cultural viewpoints, our religious viewpoints, our political viewpoints, we experience life all the time we're awake. Now, when we're asleep, of course, we're still experiencing it, but we're not conscious of our experience. In fact, a large portion of our life experience is spent in an unconscious state. It's always interested me of late that the incredible intelligence that resides in us and around us, and we live in it, we move in it, we are a part of it, we're connected to it, it's connected to us, that takes care of so many details for us. You know, keeps our heart beating. You've never consciously probably had to make your heart beat. You've never consciously had to make your liver clean your blood and your kidneys do their thing and your pancreas, and you've never had to make your brain function and your blood move around. All of this sort of stuff is set on autopilot for you by the greater intelligence than you. And this has made me think and realize and appreciate too, especially appreciate, that as great as any human is, and as great as I am, and as great as I want to believe I am, that if it's going to be, it's up to me, and all the positive things that I absolutely believe in and don't want to take anything away from, it makes me realize that all of that in combination is not as great as that which makes it possible for me to lay hold of these things. And I'm reminded, you know, perhaps because of my Judeo-Christian upbringing, of the Ten Commandments, and especially the first one, which says something like, you've got to love God with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength. You know, the sort of standard Christian viewpoint is that God's a triune being, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. You know, there's a Trinity there. And I think as humans made in the image of God, we're triune beings ourselves. You know, our heart isn't speaking about our blood pump when we love God with all of our heart. He's not saying love God with all of your blood pump. It's more like the heart of a tree, the heart of the matter, the very core of the being. We've got to love this greater power, this power in which we live, in which we move, and which lives and moves in us and gives us beingness, human beingness. This greater power, we have to love that with all of the core of our being. And in doing so, we set ourselves in alignment with the power that is greater than us, with the power that facilitates us, that gives us the opportunity to wake up in the morning and face another day, another 16 hours if you sleep 8 hours a day, you know, which maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm pretty good with 6 hours generally. But, you know, if we live a life of prideful arrogance where we do not acknowledge the greater power, you know, I think we're doing ourselves a serious disservice, because, as I've already mentioned, there's this autonomic AI, not AI, it's not artificial, it's real, this I, that's interesting, isn't it? This intelligence, not an artificial intelligence, this I, the I within me, that's actually not my personality, it's not my body, it's not my mind, it flows through all of these things, but it's greater than all of these things. I need to acknowledge that. I need to be grateful for that. And from that position of gratitude and respect and honor and genuine heartfelt appreciation at the opportunity that I have today to be able to breathe another deep breath, to be able to enjoy the benefits of having my heart beating in a rhythm that's keeping me going. From that point, I go and face my day empowered by something that is great, enormous, unfathomable in its extent, because simultaneously it's offering the same opportunities to 7 billion other people on the planet just like me today. And it's keeping all of the animals alive and the insects alive, and I know we could go on about all the difficulties and the challenges we're facing on the planet today, and that's what a lot of people care to do. And it's important that we spend time thinking about those things, but not from a point of view of complaint and disavowing this super intelligence, this greater intelligence, this divinity, if you like, as religions like to refer to it, this God. I don't want to particularly give it a name. I think the old Hebrews, of ancient times, understood this in a way where they wouldn't even give a name to this great entity. And it was so sacred, it was so holy, it was so above their ken, above their ability to comprehend, that they wouldn't even announce the name. I could be wrong about that, but that I sort of sometimes remember that from a Sunday school class somewhere going way back. But it makes sense to me. It makes sense that, there is an awesomeness about the intelligence that's greater than my own singular intelligence. There is an awesomeness to the greatness and the extent of the power in which I live and I move, and which empowers me. I'm a subset of it. I'm connected to it. I'm not distinct from it. I'm a part of it, but I'm a part of its manifestation in this world, and I honor that. And as I do, I feel myself getting in sync with the energies of life. It's like if you've ever done anything like windsurfing or sailing or even surfing on the waves, you realize in a very experiential way the importance of syncing with the natural forces. Because if you don't sync with the natural forces, your sailboat's not going to go where you intended it to go or desired it to go. Your surfboard and you are not going to end up at the destination you were hoping to end up. You're going to end up on the bottom of the ocean sucking sand and banging your head and getting topsy-turvied, etc. And so there's an ability, there's an opportunity for you and for me today in this August month, and I want you to take to heart that today represents an opportunity for you to get in sync with this greater power, to honor, as the first of the 10 commandments says, honor the Lord, your God. I mean, this is my God. If I'm going to give reverence to anything more than, I love my mother, I love my father, I love my sister, I love my family, my friends, but I'm not going to bow down to them in a sense of awe and reverence. But when I think of life, the awesomeness of life, when I think of the awesomeness of the power that is sustaining me and giving me breath and giving me heartbeats and keeping my liver going and every organ in my body and my brain functioning and all those synapses in my brain that are more than the stars and the planets of the solar system in which I live, that allows me consciousness. When I think of this grandeur, then I'm filled with gratitude, and I'm filled with thankfulness, and I'm filled with respect for whatever you want to call that. It's so holy. I don't even know how to give it a correct noun, a correct name. I don't even know how to give it correct adjectives and describe the greatness of this. The various religions have categorized it and quantified it and encapsulated it in all kinds of names, and those names fall so far short in my perspective and in my view on the greatness of this. If anything, I like to call it in general terms life with a capital L. This intelligence, this power, this greatness, this energy. and we're all a part of it, and it's a part of all of us, which connects us all together, which leads me to the second of the 10 commandments. After love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second commandment, which is just like the first one in so many respects, is thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. You know, when you really appreciate what I've just said about the first commandment, it seems natural, it seems to follow, almost as a part of the same message and edict and instruction, that I should love you and you should love me. And love's not just a sentiment. It's not, I don't even know the majority of people on the planet. We've all each only got a very limited number of connections, directly speaking. But indirectly, we've got all the connections. And we need to honor and love one another, because in doing so, we recognize that which gives us our existence, that which gives us our consciousness, that which gives us our energy, our strength, and our opportunity to go forward. So in loving you, I'm actually honoring that in you that is in me, that gives me the opportunity for the day. And so I've been thinking a lot about that, and it doesn't matter what experience we're going through in our life, whether it's an up experience or a down experience, whether we're breathing in or breathing out, whether the heartbeat's pumping in or pumping out, or sucking in the blood or pumping out the blood. Whether your stomach's just been filled or whether it's just been emptied. Whatever phase of life you're in, if the tide's going out or the tide's coming in your life, if you're experiencing the season of winter or the season of spring and summer, if it's a happy time or a sad time, it's never a time to be ungrateful. It's never not a time to be grateful for all of the greater powers and essences and things of life that have supported you to this point and giving you the opportunity to be able to move forward with the wind at your back. Get in sync with life by being grateful. Get in sync with life by lifting up your heart and your voice even, because that sort of helps as you lift up your voice and you love the Lord your God with all your heart, so you're the core of your being, your intention. With all your mind, you start thinking about these things that I'm saying to you today, and all your strength, which in part can be expressed in a vocalization of thank you, life, for what you've given me. That is part of my strength. Without my strength, I could not say those words. I could not express the gratitude that lives in my heart and in my mind. It's a completion of the triune being, the heart, the mind, and the body, to be able to express gratitude. Without the expression of gratitude, there's a frustration of the dynamic of life. If you look through the Genesis account of creation, okay, and I'm willing to accept the fact that there's a lot of metaphor in there. There's a lot of analogies in there that I'm not saying that that's precisely how it happened, but principally speaking, in terms of the immutable principles of life, irrespective of your cultural disposition, irrespective of your religious points of view, irrespective of your political standpoints, etc., whether you're an atheist or a theist, a lefty or a righty, a Republican or a Democrat, I couldn't give a toss about all that. I'm talking about the immutable principles that are the same for every one of us on the planet, all 7 billion living beings, conscious living beings. When we engage our heart in something, and we engage our minds in that same something, and we engage our strength in that same something, our physical being, and we express our gratitude from the heart, through the mind, and through the voice, then we are getting our sails set, if you like, with the greater force that can carry our little boat, relatively speaking, to the destination that we are setting ourselves to go towards. We can stand up on our surfboard and we can navigate the awesome power of that wave, and it's not automatic, because it's a discipline, it's a skill to be learned. You've never met anybody that went on a sailboat for the first time and just could sail all around the place on it easily. You've never met a surfer yet that could stand up on his board consistently from day one. It doesn't work like that. It works because it works when you learn the skills and you discipline yourself and you apply yourself. And why would you think that your life is going to be any different? You're going to fall off your sailboard. You're going to fall off your surfboard. You're going to tip your yacht over. I remember I was sailing one time on a little thing called a hobby cat, just a very small 1 or 2 man craft with a rubber pontoon between a rubber mattress between 2 pontoons and a sail. And I was sailing in Western Australia in a city called Perth with a friend of mine. We were well out past the breakwater. And I did a really quick turn. I wasn't a skillful sailor at all. I'd probably done this about 3 times in my life before. And I tipped the thing over and I went up in the air and fell through the sail, and the sail tore to shreds as I went through it. And I had to sit out there and wait. My friend sailed back into the shore and got a guy to come out with a boat and tow me back in. That was the experience of a guy who doesn't know how to sail. Just by coincidence today, I'm wearing this t-shirt. I didn't intend to wear this, but I know it says a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Skilled sailors take a long time in the making. And it's true of life that skilled livers, people that know how to consistently enjoy the maximum opportunities of life, it's a slow process. I know we're kids and we love life. We run around and we go here, there and everywhere, and everything's easy, and we're not conscious of too much stress, and if we do, we fall down, we cut ourselves, whatever, we get over it pretty quick and we move on. But we're under the guardianship of our parents. Let's not forget that. Life's easy because we don't have to take much responsibility. Because responsibility is a learned thing in our lives. And, most kids these days are under their parents' banner for the first 20 odd years of their life. Some for a lot longer. It's a long time to learn to be independent, thoroughly independent. And so when we get out into the independence of life, we then start taking responsibility, to become skillful at taking responsibility and to enjoy the vicissitudes of life and understand the cycles of life and flow with them, and the seasons of life, and plant when it's time to plant and harvest when it's time to harvest. To learn these things takes time, and it hurts a lot. Life's painful, man, woman, person. There's a lot of pain. And the thing is, to keep coming back to that simple place of realization and acknowledgement of the greater power, of the power of life with a capital L, the intelligence of life with a capital L, the strength of life with a capital L, the encouragement that life can bring to you when you focus in on love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. The commandment wasn't go and love all the people of the world. It was love your neighbour. Love the people that are around you. You don't have to go out. A lot of people, talk about, I want to go and do something for the people in the far-flung lands and help them. Hey, just help your bloody neighbour. Do something that's right at hand and become skillful at that. Practice that. Do some good for the people that are in your world. Be a good father. Be a good mother. Be a good provider. Be a good brother. Be a good sister. And from there you can begin to prove that you are a worthy and responsible person who can take on more authority, who can take on more opportunity, who can do more, because you're being more. A lot of people like to talk about, I love to do this for the world, and I'd love to do that for the world. For me, that's just a crock of BS. You wouldn't love to do anything. You just love to talk about it. You just love to kid yourself. You're not real. Not to me, you're not. You're real when I can see you doing something for your neighbour. Then I know that your love is in operation, because it's evident. Love's not a feeling. Love's not a theory. Love's not a doctrine. Love's not a point of view. Love can be seen in the actions that we take in our everyday life. We can't see the intents of people. We can imagine what they are, and we often do, to our own chagrin. You know, it's something that really can be frustrating when people think they know what you intend. Nobody knows what you intend except you. But everyone can see what your actions are. And I hope that you look at your own actions and take steps of love. Steps of love towards yourself, and steps of love towards life, forgiving you yourself and supporting yourself, and steps of love towards your neighbour, the people at hand, the people that are within arm's reach, the people that are accessible to you now. Do something for them. Whatever little it may be, do something and be a blessing to them. Hey, if I get to share this with anybody, and I probably will, I feel like I probably will, it's a message that's not just for me, even though I'm preaching it to myself right now. But do something with this. Act on it. Start loving the Lord your God. Start loving life. Start appreciating life with all your heart and with all your mind and with all your strength. Thanks. I'm Darryl Reeves. It's been great chatting.